All right, guys, I want you to take 6 minutes out of your day. Listen to Connor Hedrick's speech. He's a local boy here. He won the state FFA speaking contest for the Missouri Cattlemen's Association. Listen to it and let me know what you think.
It was midday and the snow was coming down hard. The kind of cold that creeps into your gloves no matter how many pairs you're wearing. We were calving in the middle of winter like we always do, and I was sitting in the truck with my grandpa watching as the first calf heifer tried to bring her baby into the world. That calf finally hit the ground and we watched as it stood, legs shaky, unsure, but determined. And after a while, my grandpa looked out the window and said this: "Tradition doesn't survive by accident. Someone's got to keep it going." And that moment stuck with me because just like that calf was taking its first breath, I realized something. I'm a part of this next generation, and we didn't build this world, but we're the ones who have to keep it alive. In Missouri's cattle industry, it's just like that calf. Strong, full of potential, but needing the right kind of guidance to grow. Growing up on a ranch, I've seen what happens when you sell a calf. You don't just bring money home. That money turns into feed from the feed store, diesel at the gas station, maybe a tire at the local shop, or a vet bill that keeps the calf alive. I didn't realize how big that was until I heard this. An ag dollar is passed through the community up to 7 times. That means that $1 doesn't just stay on the farm. It's moving through small towns and keeping businesses alive. It's keeping rural Missouri turning. Every cattle sale is a ripple, and those ripples build communities. But here's something I didn't understand until I started getting older. The average age of a Missouri farmer is almost 58 years old, and that number keeps going up. For someone like me, that's not just a statistic, that's real. That means that people who have been feeding this world for decades are starting to step away, and there aren't enough young ones ready to step in behind them. Why? Not because we don't want to, but because it's not easy to start. Land is expensive, equipment is expensive, and there aren't many jobs where you work from sunup to sundown and pray the weather cooperates. But I can tell you this, we're out here. Kids like me are already hauling hay, working cows, doing chores before school, and learning every day what it takes to make this life work. It's not easy, but a lot of us aren't doing this for ease. We do it because we care about something bigger than ourselves. We care about the land, keeping it healthy for the next generation. We care about the animals, raising them right and treating them well. And we care about feeding people. People we'll never meet, but who depend on us every single day. And that's something I think about often, especially when I hear people saying that agriculture is dying. Because from where I stand, in the mud, in the snow, in a feed truck before dawn, I see something different. I see life, and I see future. Missouri isn't just another cattle state. We're one of the biggest. We've got over 4 million head of cattle, including 2 million beef cows, putting us in the top 3 states for cow numbers. The ag industry adds nearly $94 billion to Missouri's economy, with over $9 billion coming from livestock alone. And over 150,000 Missourians work in agriculture or ag-related jobs. So when people say, what difference can one state make? We've got the answer. Missouri's cattle help feed not just this country, but countries around the world. Our genetics, our beef, our work ethic, it all stretches beyond our fence line. And that's something to be proud of, but it's also something we have to protect. Even though the world around us is changing fast, the way we work at home hasn't. We still do things horseback. Why? Not because we're stuck in the past, but because it works, and because it builds more than just muscle. It builds character. There's something about sitting in a saddle at daybreak, checking cows in silence. That teaches you patience. You learn to read body language, and to notice when something's off, and to handle things without needing attention or praise. My dad always said, the hard way is usually the right way, and I believe that. Because when you put in the time, when you've earned it, you don't just understand the work better, but you respect it more. And that respect is what I think keeps this industry going. I remember when I was younger, branding camps used to be one of the best parts of the year. Getting out of school for a few days felt like a bonus. But to me, it wasn't just about skipping class. It's about learning something real. We'd spend long hours horseback, roping calves, getting up pairs, and working together as a crew. At night, we'd roll out our bedrolls in the dirt, eat around a fire, and fall asleep under the stars. I was just a kid, but I knew even then that this is where I belonged. And it wasn't easy, but like I said earlier, the hard way is usually the right way. And like John Wayne once said, Courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. And that's how I want to learn. Not by watching from the fence, but by being in it. By making the mistakes and figuring it out the way folks before me did. Because that's how you get good. And that's how you earn it. Listen, I'm not here today because I have all the answers. I'm here because someone gave me a chance to speak. And that's what the Cattlemen's Association and groups like it do for young people like me. They don't just talk about the future, they invest in it. Through scholarships, leadership contests, junior programs, and mentorships, they make sure there's a place for the next generation at the table. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is show them they belong. And these groups do that, and more. But if we want this industry to survive, we need more of that. More support, more education, more people willing to share their knowledge and make room for the young hands to learn. 2 winters ago, I watched a shaky little calf take its first steps out in the snow. I didn't know the legacy he was stepping into, and back then, I didn't fully understand mine either. But sitting there in that cold truck, hearing my grandpa say, tradition doesn't survive by accident, someone's got to keep it going, I realized something. I may be young, but I'm already a part of something bigger. And the work we do, even on the coldest days, isn't just about keeping cattle alive. It's about keeping a way of life alive. A way of life worth protecting, worth teaching, and worth handing down. Because Missouri's cattle industry is up on its feet. And now it's our turn to help it grow. Thank you.
And if you made it all the way through that, tell me that these younger kids, I hear everybody complaining, oh, this younger generation. We got some leaders coming on. I'm telling you.